welcome to Palomar Mountain. And I definitely have car ADD. This is my 2023 BMW M3 base manual transmission. I bought the car last night, picked it up at night, and have put about, I don't know, 120 miles on it. Gonna try and break it in gently, but had the urge to drive today, so here we are, Palomar Mountain. This is the south grade. This video is gonna be initial owner impressions. Again, I have maybe 120 miles on this car. If you've seen my other video, you will have noticed that I had a 21 M4 base manual. That was a great car. You know, I have a review kind of floating around, very amateur, but whatever. When I had the car, the M4, I really enjoyed it, but it quickly became obvious to me that I should have bought the M3, and there's some reasons for that. I personally think, in retrospect now, that the M3 looks better. The rear fenders kind of like bulge out more. The proportions are better to me. And then the second reason is the practicality. The practicality with 4 doors is just way better than with the 2-door. Those doors are long on the 2-door, like really long. So if you're in a tight parking space, getting out is a pain. You know, I couldn't put my dog in the back seat, even though the back seat's big. It's just the gap to put him in the rear was just not big enough to fit him in there. It's a 70-pound dog. But yeah, aesthetically, I actually think the M3 looks better, which is one of the reasons I'm back in a G80, but this time in an M3 versus the M4. So I've noticed a lot of, well, some minor changes. This is not an LCI car. Come on, dude, pull over, dude. For real? Okay, cool guy, Tacoma guy. You're giving Tacoma drivers a bad name. I used to have a Tacoma. Anyhow, some differences that I've noticed immediately from the M4, from the 21 to this 23 model. This new dash is ridiculous. It's freaking huge. It's quite frankly overwhelming. And you know, when I first saw in the pictures, I actually thought it was hideous. In person, it actually is not so bad. It actually looks kind of cool. However, there's just too much stuff going on. It's just way too much. You know, one of the problems I don't like, or I'm sorry, one of the changes to this new generation that I don't really care for is the 21 M4 had the climate control kind of set up here. They had physical buttons, dials, and you know, the heated seats, you hit a button and everything was great. They have since moved the climate control to this massive iPad looking thing, and it's annoying and it's very slow actually. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So, you know, you'll have Waze on, and you know, this is great for Waze. It's freaking huge screen and all that, but like, you want to change the temperature, so you have to hit this button. Notice a delay. It's actually kind of annoying. So, you know, that's a weird change. I don't know why they did that. I prefer the physical buttons and dials and all that, but now everything's controlled here. There's so much new tech. Just simple things like I have to spend time to figure out, like, you know, this is my fuel range that shows I have 98 miles to empty, but I don't even know how to get the odometer on there. Like, how do I check my actual odometer? Like, it's ridiculous. It's just buried in screens and screens and tech, and it all seems a little unnecessary. It seems a little forced, and you know, kind of annoying. Aside from that, this time around I did not get the carbon buckets. I got the, as Porsche people would say, I got the sofas, and I actually am very happy with that, because the carbon buckets, while great for like high performance driving while driving on track. For everyday living, the bolsters were so high that it was kind of really hard to get in and out of. And I suspect if I kept the car for a long time, the bolsters would just be beat up and just in terrible shape. Dude, this Tacoma sucks. Like, why do you have to be a dick? Just pull over. You know I'm behind you. It's not that hard. Seriously. I feel like this guy's doing it on purpose. This is Palomar Mountain, by the way. Like, people know, like, motorcyclists come here, sports car enthusiasts come here, and I'm not here to break the law and do stupid shit, but I'm not here to do 25 miles an hour either. And, you know, just be considerate to your other road users. Sorry, got distracted. So again, the dash is probably the biggest change. This is not an LCI car, but this dash is definitely a big step in a different direction, along with moving the climate control to the infotainment. Other than that, I don't really notice any other changes. The powertrain, the power, the transmission, everything feels the same for my 21 M4. The steering wheel is the same, which is to say everything's great. The power is still great. The braking, the handling is great. The other difference I did notice from my 21 M4 is that car came with Michelin PS4S tires, which I, you know, really enjoyed. I had confidence in, and were very confident inspiring on the track and on the street. This car came with Pirellis, and I don't know if it's like a supply chain issue, but it came with like Pirellis. I don't even know what they are. But so far I don't have the confidence yet. I noticed this morning, just taking off briskly from a stop, that the car was getting a little sideways. If I shift hard from first to second, I noticed that you know, it's definitely spinning the wheels. But other than that, I you know, there's no real other changes. This car is pretty identically spec'd to my old M4, which is to say, you know, it's not completely decked out, but it had about an $80,000 MSRP. And speaking of pricing, when I went to the dealership, or I called the dealership initially, they wanted 10K over. I said absolutely not. They called me back. They said, you know, they're doing me a favor for giving me 2,500 over. I said absolutely not. And I'm not going to go into the specifics of my deal, but I will tell you, I bought this car yesterday. I think it was September 16th. I did not pay a cent over MSRP. I'm just going to leave it at that. I know a lot of people our dealers are asking for MSRP plus a market adjustment. Don't do it. It's a load of crap. The guy was trying to educate me on the market, and I educated him on the market. I said, hey, you know, I'm not paying a penny over. And we worked out a deal that I was happy with, and, you know, clearly they're going to make money on. So, you know, I thought it was a win-win. I think these ADMs are annoying, and it's clear that the market is starting to crack, and you know, these prices, these ADMs will be going away soon. All right, I'm gonna pull over just because this guy is a bitch. Okay, I think I got rid of all the slow traffic, but who knows. South Grade Palomar, back on it. I love this car. The torque is incredible. I know this is not a comp. I know it has less torque, it has less horsepower, but you know what? It's still plenty quick. I love the manual. It's a typical BMW manual transmission with really long throws. The turn-in's fantastic. The steering itself is kind of numb. It doesn't really tell you what the front wheels are doing, but you can still place the car very accurately. It's not like my GT4, it's not actually even like my BRZ, but the steering is actually quite good. All right, let me make a left here. Overall, initial impressions are great. I'm looking forward to putting some miles on this car, using it as a daily, and taking it to the track. Very much looking forward to it. As far as upgrades go, oof, I think the most pressing thing is the car's too quiet. Right now I have the exhaust button off. If you hit this little exhaust button in the center console, it goes M sound control on, and I think it's just like piped in sound, or I'm sorry, not even piped in sound. I think it's just sound through the speakers. It's fake. So I actually drive with it off most of the time, and because of that, the car is like really quiet. Like, it's too quiet. So if anything, I will do some sort of exhaust. And I wasn't a fan of like the F80 M3s and M4s with exhaust. I thought they all sounded like shit, quite frankly. And my GT4 being stock but sounding like amazing is going to be really hard to live up to with a turbo motor. But hopefully there's something out there that I can find that will be to my liking. For those of you familiar with Palomar Mountain, I am now heading towards the east grade. There's a lot of cyclists here, so just be aware. Also, there's a lot of gravel. We got some like thunderstorms in the last couple weeks, so I'm expecting some gravel on the road today. I typically like to go up east grade and not down it, but today I'm going down it, and regardless, it's still one of my favorite roads. It's fantastic. It's really special. Back to the car. Yeah, I look forward to tracking it. You know, the turn-in still feels like strong. The grip levels feel strong. I'll update you guys with another video after I put some actual mileage on it. I'm not supposed to be caning this car, so I'm not. Again, I probably have like 140, 150 miles on it. And it needs like a break-in oil change, I believe, at 1,000 miles. So I'm trying to get some mileage on here so I can get that done sooner than later. But yeah, it feels great to be back in an M3. Personally, if you're looking at the car, I think the M3 looks better. I'm sorry, M4 guys, I had an M4. But the practicality is also huge. There's fucking Tacoma douche. Fucking douche. Excuse my language, but that guy sucks. Oh, what a great road. In a great car. So if you're on the fence about getting one of these cars, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the only other option in this class is a CT4V Blackwing, which I actually did drive a few weeks ago. My buddy has a car, he let me drive it, and quite frankly, it's the reason I bought this car. I drove that thing. It's actually very impressive. The power is great. It actually might feel a little bit more powerful than this, truthfully, but it made me start looking for actually a CT4V Blackwing. I just couldn't find one in Southern California with a manual transmission. It seems like every dealer with a Blackwing in stock spec'd an automatic, which is a shame because Cadillac is, you know, this is probably gonna be the last manual transmission Cadillac along with the CT5 Blackwing that they'll make, so it's like, why do an automatic? Anyhow, back to the BMW. So I test drove that, couldn't find one. I was like, all right, I'll start looking at M3s again. Found this, and was pleasantly surprised by the color, the interior, the spec, the price. You know, I'm personally not a fan of like speccing cars up, like taking off all the boxes, and you know, the base MSRP on this car is like 72 grand. For me, I just don't understand like why you would spec it up to 100. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's probably poor resale. Anyhow, I know a lot of you probably won't agree with me, but I've always been, you know, just give me the motor and the transmission I want. I don't really care about the options. I don't care about it. Just get me the motor and transmission spec that I want, and I'm happy. God damn, what a fucking cool car. Look at that. One feature I didn't have in the M4 that is now here is they have this weird thing that like tells you like what kind of pound-feet of torque you're using and horsepower you're using. And let me floor it. It's not something I ever thought I needed, but now that I have it, it's kind of cool to just like watch. And it's actually kind of interesting because it really leans heavily on the torque more than the horsepower when you initially gun it. Oh shit. Yeah, this car's gonna get me in trouble. It's very quick. It doesn't feel like you're speeding, but you know, anyway, it's very quick. Very happy with it so far. Gonna put some miles on it. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Tune in, I'm gonna have more stuff for you guys. I got other vehicles and stuff that I'm gonna review. I hate to fucking say this, but you know, if you do me a favor and like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Hit me with the comments. I try to respond to comments and give my extra feedback on this stuff. And thanks for watching. Take care.